I'm gonna go try and catch 1 or 2 fish to cook for dinner. That's a lot of pressure. It didn't happen. Yeah, it's like a glove. I'm in the park and hiking up to Ridge Lakes. I don't think it's a very long hike. It smells like a fart because there's sulfur springs everywhere. It's pretty cool actually. There's this nice creek. I'm wondering if there's a point where that creek can also be fished. But guys, I'm kind of an idiot. I didn't check, but the road, the whole reason I came up the way I did through this entrance of the park was so I could drive through the park by Mount Lassen Peak and then over towards the north entrance of the park, which is where most of the fishing opportunities are. And I don't know if there's still snow on the road up there or if there's maintenance, but it's closed. You can't drive all the way through. So I'm making the most of it and doing this one hike to this lake, and it's actually really nice over here. But I'm gonna have to go back out of the park and around like an hour plus, probably closer to 2 hours to get to where I want to be this evening. So yeah, that's kind of my trips in a nutshell. Very little planning. You have some fun, but you also pay the consequences sometimes. That's all good though. Whatever. Okay. Yeah, it's just all snow now. And basically, I have no idea where the trail is, but I know the creek flows out of the lake. So as long as I'm close to that, I can find my way. But it might get too steep. Might have to turn around. I'm gonna go as far as I can. Oh, this is a short but really, really steep hike. Well, shit. The lake is mostly frozen. It's still a pretty area, but damn. I see a pretty big trout, maybe 10 feet off this point. It's not deep here. I mean, the water's probably 4 feet deep where the fish is. But I'm just saying, if I am over water and if this breaks through, I'm not gonna drown. I'll just have a bad day. I just don't think I'm actually over water right now. So I'm gonna rig up and see if he's game. Should have brought my skis. This looks like a pretty decent slope to spend a day skinning. Wow. So yeah, got a nice, I think that was a brook trout. It's kind of had this purplish hue to it, and like kind of this distinct large mouth, almost like a I don't know, I don't want to say like a salmon, but almost looked like the, what do they call it in Europe, whatever. Anyways, yeah, got a nice brookie. Thing was fat, but I didn't like how he didn't put up a huge fight. It seemed kind of low energy, and I felt bad for having to take him out of the water. I had no barb on the hook, so I got the hook out quickly, got him back in the water. The fish seems fine. But yeah, maybe this early season, like, you know, partially frozen lake isn't ideal. Maybe all the ice on the lake means there's less oxygen in the water or something like that. I thought the fish would just be hungry and jumping because there's lots of bug activity up here. But it just, yeah, it seemed like the fish was tired and still kind of waking up for the season. Anyways, I fished for maybe 10 minutes. I'm gonna head back down the hill, see how much I slip and slide in the snow. All right, time for a butt slide. Yeah. Ugh. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Fits like a glove. That way, if people want to use this to fish, they can still come here, park, and turn around. I can hear the creek. Let's just run over and take a peek. Ooh, it's fast here. Yeah, I don't think I'll be fishing right here. But let me just look. Ooh. Yeah, I don't know. Got all my fly gear out. Got the rod rigged back up after the hike today. You guys gotta check out this fishing spot. It's about a minute away from the van. Oh yeah. Up here. Look at this spot. Oh, and I just saw a fish jump. Oh my god. It's just like a flume of deep water through the lava rock in this otherwise super dry spot. I love this type of stuff. Got a little one on the big dropper. Got a double dropper set up here, and no net means I will catch fish. If I had brought the net, I wouldn't have caught him. Second rainbow in about a minute of casting. There he goes. Okay, so this, I have no idea what this is called, but I got this in Italy when we were fishing north of Tuscany. This fly shop recommended it, and it's like a true barbless. You don't have to crimp it. It comes without a barb, so it's really easy to release the fish. But the shape of the hook keeps the fish on really well. I mean, that fish just jumped 4 feet out of the water at one point and stayed on. All right, fish number 3. Oh, tighten the drag a little bit. Oh yeah, this one's a little bit bigger. A little feistier too. Oh, you're good, you're good, you're good. Let's get this off of you. Another little one on. In a different pool here, I just wanted to make sure the other spot wasn't a complete honey hole. But no, there's fish all over this river, or creek. It's Hat Creek. And it's world famous, I guess, for this. Okay, looks like this guy swallowed it. I'm gonna have to get... Oh shoot, just lost a little small one, but to be honest, I wasn't sure how I was gonna land them in here. I just hooked a fish, and it is in the most impossible spot. All right, I gotta get down there, but look at it. It's a nice little 12-inch rainbow in this friggin' like waterfall section. Man, this is my favorite section of Hat Creek so far. It's just so much water shoved in between these lava rocks. It's so deep right here. It's just like a boiling pot. All right, I'm gonna go try and catch 1 or 2 fish to cook for dinner. That's a lot of pressure. I have lots and lots of extra food if it doesn't work out. But I remember I actually got in an argument with my friend in Switzerland because he is a fisherman through and through, and he believes the only way to fish is to fish to eat, fish to kill, basically. He thinks it's torture dragging the fish through the water on a hook by its mouth. And I mean, yeah, I had a long, sort of conversation with myself about that one. I've heard that fish don't feel pain in, like, their mouths or whatever. I don't know. Catch and release is kind of widely favored in the West, like for fly fishing and just keeping all the fisheries healthy. I know a lot of the fish are stocked, but it's still nice to just not, kill every single fish you hook, because, I mean, like that hole that I just fished, which I had a lot of fun doing, it would have no fish left in it. And, I just sat here for 15 minutes debating whether or not I should take 2, or if I get the big or like foot long one, that'll be enough. But if they're smaller, I might have to take 2. And then, that hole just isn't as good for the next person. It seems like there's tons of fish in this creek and probably won't be a problem. But Marco, I'm doing it. It didn't happen. Yes, the fish were jumping. and I caught 2, and it was fun. And you know, catching a fish on the dry fly is always enjoyable experience, but they were just too small. I mean, I don't feel right about keeping a couple 10-inch trout to eat. So yeah, cheapest beach that exists in Safeway is now in my skillet instead. Alright, well, beef and rice. Gonna add just a bunch of seasoning and whatever looks good. You guys may have picked up by now, I'm not like a gourmet chef or anything. Super nice sunset out here. Perfect temperature. Alright, leaving my spot and heading towards Mount Lassen to try and fish the headwaters of Hat Creek. There she is. Alright, I got like 3 miles to go. When I passed through the gate, it said road closed in 10 miles, and my nav said it was like 10 miles to the trailhead. So I'm hoping that whether or not I can park at the trailhead, I can park nearby and get to it if it's not snowed in, but I'm not seeing any snow yet. Still a lot of snow up there. I'm on this trail to the creek, or it should parallel the creek. I was able to park maybe a half a mile away from the trailhead, and then the road was closed, but it's kind of cool. You just walk down the highway that runs through the park, and there's no cars, but people are biking, and there's a couple of hikers here and there. It's super chill, you know. I guess a lot of the park is still inaccessible via car, but I mean, you can park your car and walk beyond where the road is closed, and there's just nobody here. I forget which fire came through here and what year, but man, got pretty devastated. It's pretty though, with the small undergrowth starting to come through. Some little aspen trees right there. And this trail is super chill. I mean, it's like a fire road or something. It's not very steep. And it should cross the creek or come very close to the creek soon, and then I'll see what we're working with here. Yes, sir. This is what I'm talking about. And with a view, it's gonna be a good day. Oh, got a little trout on. There are fish in here. Yes, sir. Nice brown. The reason I visited Hat Creek on this trip is because that area is it has a very special meaning for me, because one of my earliest childhood fishing experiences was there. We were actually camping near Burney Falls, and I think we were fishing Burney Creek, which goes right by the campground, and it was a total honey hole. My mom says that the truck that stocks fish had just dumped like hundreds of fish into the creek, and we went over there, and without exaggerating at all, we were catching a fish every single cast. And we were just fishing with lures or possibly even power bait back then. I was probably 4. And every time me and my dad and my brother would talk about fishing, just the conversation would come up. And whenever somebody said Hat Creek, for whatever reason, me and my brother and my dad's eyes would just light up, and we'd be like, oh yeah, the fabled Hat Creek, where the magical fish just bite anything that you stick into the creek. But that experience, as I grew up, I realized that's just not how fishing usually is. That's not how it should be. But nevertheless, it was an incredibly unforgettable experience for me. And since then, I learned that Hat Creek and that whole area is actually world famous, and not for the stocked rainbow trout, but for the world-class waters it offers. And there's the Fall River, there's Burney Creek, there's Hat Creek. There's a lot of incredible fishing there that people actually come to try their hand at from all over the world. I didn't go down to the Blue Ribbon section of the river. I was going to. I had a nice opportunity midweek, and the weather was nice. But I had so much fun up in the upper section of the creek, catching fish and camping out in the boonies and just sort of having that me time. And by the end of that, I decided I didn't need to go stand in the river with a bunch of other people trying to perfect my presentation with my fly casting. That's just not how I fish. Sometimes I wish I could fish like that. I wish I was so good that even the most difficult fish to catch that have been caught hundreds of times probably would bite my fly, but no, not this time. Maybe when I'm older. So I said goodbye to Mount Lassen National Park by putting the kayak in the lake right by the entrance to the park. I brought my fishing pole. I saw a lot of fish. I did not catch any. They were some of the most stuck-up fish. Some of the most discriminating fish in terms of what they would and wouldn't eat. And at the end of the day, I just had a really nice time out on the lake. And then I went down to Burney Falls, which is one of the most incredible waterfalls I've ever seen. It's not like, hundreds of feet high. It's not like a big old Amazon waterfall or even a Hawaiian waterfall, but the way that the water comes out of the layers of rocks in the side of the cliff really amazes me. I really gotta thank you guys for watching this video. It means a lot, and I know it's probably just a handful of you guys because I'm brand new to this YouTube thing. But I just wanted to let you know I'm super excited for the next episode. I'll take you out to this, I'm calling it the Mystery Creek in Nevada. It's a tiny, tiny creek with like abnormally large trout in it. And I was so excited to even find it, much less catch some fish in it. So I'll see you there. Cheers.